Before we start use the OptimiDoc, we need to install the OptimiDoc to the devices or configure the OptimiDoc for printing on the network ones. In the section devices, there is a link devices. Now I have an empty list, but I can add the new device. Before I start the installation of the Xerox Connect Key device, I would like to show what is necessary to set on the device. In the general setup, in the section properties, there is a settings extensible service setup. After we open the extensible service setup, there is the extensible service registration, and by clicking on the edit button, I need to have enabled all settings. So here is the button enable all, and in that case, after I check this, I have device ready for the installation. Here you can see that this is the device with the empty screen without any authentication or OptimiDoc application. Now I will start the installation. I put the name. This is the Xerox 7225. The location is Czech. IP address of the device, which is important for the registration. And based on the IP address, I can put the serial number of the device. I can put it manually, or I can automatically read this information from the SNMP. So when I click on this button, the system automatically provides me the serial number of the system. The next two options are prefer Ssl Communication, so that I want to force the communication by the SSL, and the second option is the use accounting. So in that case, when I check these settings, the OptimiDoc will account the jobs and operation on this device. Here I can select the price list. In the second tab, Terminal, I have the option how to set up how the OptimiDoc will be installed. The first option is the device authentication. In case that I want to authenticate just to the OptimiDoc application, I will leave this section or this option unchecked. After that, I can select the authentication method, localization of the interface. In case that it's automatic, the OptimiDoc automatically checks the language of the device and use this one. Last thing is the display settings. So how the application will present the particular print and scan terminals. In case that I have a default scan or default print, after I start the application, always the system starts with this predefined section. In case that I will select only print, only scan, in that case, there will be presented only this section, and for example, the scanning application will not be available. Last setting is the intelligent. In this case, the OptimiDoc automatically recognizes if the user has some printing jobs. In that case, it presents the print terminal. If no, it automatically goes to the scan terminal. In our example, I will select the device authentication, so that I want to authenticate also to the device. And as a second option, I will select the authentication method. In this case, I can select, for example, card or PIN for the authentication. Last option is the card assignment method, so how the user can assign his new card to his account. In device authentication, we use the same secondary option as is selected in the authentication method, or I can deny it or predefine some method. The last tab, Advanced, provides some advanced settings. First of all, there is a login and password to the Xerox device. In case that you have a default one, you can leave these settings blank. In case that the customer has some specific password or the login, you can use this specific information. Separate application registration means that we will register two icons, one for print, one for scan. OptimiDoc as a default application means that we will set in the device that after the authentication, the OptimiDoc shall be automatically started. Print all means that after the user authenticates, we automatically ask him if he wants to print the waiting jobs or no. Last two options are important, or the use pre-authorization is important for the access rights, because we are using the pre-authorization on the Xerox devices to recognize the color copying and color scanning. So in case that you want to limit the color copying, you need to have checked the use pre-authorization. Last thing is the delivery type. OptimiDoc supports the delivery of the print jobs from the server to the device in the several ways, like IPP, JetDirect, or Xerox Web Services. Usually we recommend to use the automatic, because the OptimiDoc selects the most suitable one. So that's all from the configuration of the device, and I can click Save. In this case, the OptimiDoc starts the registration of the application, and at the end I can try to log in on the device. Here is the example of the authentication screen, and when I click on the authenticate, I can put the PIN. And here you can see that after the authentication, I goes directly to the application. Here is my print jobs. I can browse to the different sections like connectors, print jobs, or scanning. So that was the example of the installation of the Xerox device. In case that I want to add some network device, I will check the network device in the radar buttons and enter the name. It could be a HP or any other brand which is supporting the some job delivery to the server, to the device. And I put the IP address, and also here is possible to obtain the serial number. Last thing is the use accounting. In case that I will check the use accounting, we are using our internal parser to recognize PostScript and PostCL jobs and parse the number of color and black and white pages. Last part is the advanced tab, and there is also possibility to select some required delivery method. So that was the configuration of the devices inside the OptimiDoc.